Hi, guys. Welcome back to US History with Linux. Today, we're hitting APUSH Topic 6.5. It's all about technological innovation during the late 1800s and how it accelerated industrialization. And I know, parts of this unit can feel a little heavy because it centers around the economics of the country. And let's face it, economics can be a hard topic to understand. But I'm going to try to break it down, and I'm going to also try to keep it simple and usable for you in order to prepare for your exams. The question you need to be able to answer by the end of this video is simple. How did technology change the way Americans produced goods, moved goods, and communicated? And what were the effects? There's going to be a big shift in America. Before industrialization, a lot of Americans made things locally for their own use or for local sale. But by the late 1800s, the US is producing on a completely different scale mass production for a nation and even an international market. And the reason that happens, it's not magic, it's technology. So I want you to think of today's video as four upgrades that turned the United States into an industrial powerhouse: railroads, steel, energy, and communication. Now, the granddaddy of all of this technological change is the railroad. So you have to understand, railroads created a national market. Because once you can move goods quickly across long distances, you can also start to ship raw materials to factories, ship manufactured goods to buyers, and connect the different regions of our nation into one national economy. I'm going to be honest, the railroad boom wasn't just because companies were amazing and visionary. A major part of this was government support. The federal government is going to give railroad companies land grants and loan subsidies. And why? Well, because they realized that railroads would expand the economy and tie the country together. And guys, once the railroads spread, they don't just change transportation, they change society. We start to see towns growing along rail lines, new jobs, immigration increasing, and our country becomes more connected than ever before. This is the moment where we go from a more rural, localized economy to a more national, industrial economy. But railroads didn't work without one huge ingredient, and that's steel. So the next major technological advancement is improved steel production, especially the Bessemer process. Now, you don't need to be able to explain the Bessemer process like an engineer. Here's what you need to know. The Bessemer process allowed steel to be made faster, cheaper, and stronger. And when steel becomes cheaper, it's easier to produce, and that opens the door for more railroad tracks, bridges, machinery, factories, and later skyscrapers. So railroads help create the national market, and the steel is going to help build the infrastructure that makes that market grow. Next on our list, energy. Factories and transportation run on power. Early on, coal is the main fuel, especially for factories and locomotives. Later, oil is going to become increasingly important and eventually becomes a dominant energy source. So, if railroads are the delivery system of that industrialization, then coal and oil are the fuel that keep it running. Now, let's talk communication, because this is the one that students often forget. See, industrialization isn't just about making something, it's also about coordinating everything, whether it's prices, shipments, orders, schedules, or more investment. That's where the telegraph and then later the telephone are going to matter. The telegraph is going to allow information to travel long distances quickly, basically at the speed of electricity. And when communication speeds up, business speeds up. Then add the laying of the transoceanic cables. That's going to help create even bigger international markets. So now goods and information can move across oceans more easily, and the United States is becoming more connected to global trade. Now, let's connect all this back to the time period we're studying, the Gilded Age. If you remember correctly, when you gild something, you cover it with something shiny to hide what isn't so pretty. These technologies are real progress. They fuel growth, they create jobs, they change lives forever, but they also create challenges. Rapid growth is going to lead to corruption. Big business is going to get a little cozy with government, and some groups just start to benefit more than others. So if you want to approach this in a very historical manner, think of this unit this way. Technological innovation expanded industrial output and national markets, but it also contributed to corporate power and calls for government regulation. Man, that's a cause and effect sentence if ever I heard one. So, if you remember nothing else from topic 6.5, remember this. Technology made mass production possible, railroads made national markets possible, and communication and energy made industrialization scalable. And that's going to set the stage for everything else we're going to talk about in Unit 6: big business, labor conflicts, politics, regulation, and reform. That's a lot. And this is the foundation of all of it. We'll see you on the next one.